Hello, we are friends of Nagarjuna, and we've already done our opening prayers. This is January 28th, 2026. Let's find the text. All right. We are reading Nagarjuna's Light for a Friend. Mm, the commentary on Nagarjuna's, I guess. And we're in this section where he's talking about the qualities of a Buddha. And this is where we left off, according to my computer. So, Elsie, you're there at the top. Is the print big enough?
Yes,
Okay.
it is. The Buddha is also referred to as the one who knows the world, since he has a high and accurate knowledge of the world. For example, both in the sense of living beings who inhabit it and as the outer vessel of the physical world. This is all because of the fact that he understands, first of all, the way in which the travelings of dependent events operate, as well as the origin, the location, the dimensions, and other details of things like the earth below, mountains, and so on. Rama, you want me to continue?
Why not?
Okay, thank you. Think then of how the driver of a cart carries out their duties. On one hand, he or she sits out oxen who could serve to pull the cart, who are appropriate to the task, and then they set these to work on the team. There are some oxen, though, who, when joined to the team, tends to pull the cart off track, and these the driver releases from their duty. There are others who simply tend to veer somewhat once they are drunk, and these the driver set to staying straight on a road which is also straight. When there are oxen who walk too slow, then the driver urges them on with the use of a whip, and where there are unruly oxen who simply refuse to be hooked up to the team, the driver leaves them alone for the time being. Footnote 13. Links of dependent events. The famous teaching of the wheel of life which explains why things happen in the first place. For a great presentation, see Stopping the Circle of Sadness, the Buddhist teaching of the wheel of life, a translation of source materials by our Dhammakaya Classic Translation.
So, we talked about the oxen, didn't we? I was trying to decide which kind of oxen am I. Who's next? Janet, please.
Lam? Oh, sorry. The conquerors follow the same strategy where there are disciples who are fitting to join the cart, then they do join them. And when there are some who, after they are joined, would act in ways contrary to the teachings, the conquerors release them from the team.
Hmm.
Those that wander off on a mistaken path, the Buddha set back on a straight way, And when they are disciples who are lazy, the conquerors urge them on with a whip of joyful effort. Where there are disciples who are truly unruly, unfit to be set on the path, the conquerors simply leave them alone for the time being. And this is why these Buddhas are referred to as the ultimate drivers of the cart for beings they seek to train.
Sweet.
Do you want me to go on or you next person?
You decide.
The praise in 150 verses reflects a similar thought. You urge us on to serving others, and you cut off those who are acting like thieves. You place crooked ones on a path which is straight. And if you put fire in those who are going too slow, those who are self-controlled, you set on the path. Those who are unruly, you leave alone for now. For all these reasons, then, you are the ultimate driver of the cart, for every one of the beings to be tamed.
That's a nice analogy, isn't it?
Very beautiful and very profound.
Yeah.
And then that reference is the ultimate driver, see folio 144A of the text by the Brahmin named Avasha Gosha. All right.
Thank you. Pauline.
Okay, teacher. Worldly gods and humans are appropriate vessels for following the path to freedom. As such, they are considered the primary disciples. And because the conqueror teach the Dharma to these disciples in accordance with their thinking, the Buddhas are referred to as teachers of both gods and humans.
That's interesting because we've learned that in the God realm, nobody's interested in their spiritual path. No, but here it's saying Buddhists do teach them.
I mean, you gotta remember the subject or the audience. He's writing
Yeah.
a letter to a king. He is a god.
Right. 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 The king's the God realm, huh? Good point.
Sorry, teacher and everyone. I think I got to leave the room and come back. I couldn't hear myself, but I can hear all of you.
Oh, that's odd. Okay.
Because I didn't connect before I came in. I think so.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Do what you have to do.
Okay. See you in a while. See you in a bit.
Okay. Roxana, would you like to?
Yes, thank you. We also refer to the Buddhas, the conquerors, with two particular epithets in order to indicate that they are the ones possessed of these particular high qualities. That is, they are Buddhas, a fully awakened ones, because they have awakened from the slumber of ignorance and have expanded their minds fully to each and every object in the universe. We move on to the fine qualities in the Dharma. The Dharma of the conqueror is well spoken. It reflects perfect sight. It is free of all illnesses. It flows uninterrupted. The Dharma is directed. It is something meaningful to behold, and it is known by the wise individually.
Hmm.
All this is referring, in summary, to the pair of the Dharma which is taught and the Dharma which is realized. When we say the Dharma is well spoken, we are referring to the Dharma which is taught, for it is something which is goodness in the beginning goodness during the interim, and goodness at the end. And this is because it gives birth, respectively, to the wisdom that derives from learning, the wisdom that derives from contemplating, and the wisdom which derives from meditating. Derives from meditating. Again, we will be seeing allusions to the original scriptures throughout here. For this section, we can refer to the folio, the number, and famed meeting of the Father and Son.
Mm.
It would be interesting to find it. Meeting of the Father and Son derives from meditating.
Yeah. But there's the folio number if you
I
want
know.
to.
Geshe is teaching how to go and dig in those files.
I know. I'm not taking those classes, I confess.
Me either, dear Lama. Since I got here, I've got so many things in my mind
Well,
that
I wanna serve people, but not sure how. So I look at that to see how I can serve people, but they really are not organized at all. They don't have a system. They're creating it, and I'm not. I need guidance. I'm not going to help them create a system.
Yeah,
And I think that like if you like at Lama Sarani, if you were translating, maybe you would translate something like, the that text you were reading in the airport, the constant King of Concentration text. So
yeah,
almost like they're encouraging us to go and find the text that we want that supports what we're reading.
right,
But we know to do that. But beyond that, unless the text is already publicly available, that that system that they use is not something that we're able to use yet.
right, right. If I get in there and I pull up a text, it's going to be in the Tibetan, in the Tibetan.
But
No,
I can't even pull up the text. I could struggle through the Tibetan, but I don't know how to
yeah,
go
how to
in
get
there.
the text. Yeah,
Yeah. So there are all these layers. I personally don't think that translating to Tibetan is an issue. I think at some point you'll probably be able to just probably do it through something like Google Translate.
yeah,
But this whole searching for stuff, I know how to search for stuff on Google, which is very, very crude, and Geisha cautions that it's not always right. You have to check it. And the way you check it is with their database.
yeah,
But I don't know how to use their database. And I guess there are people that do, but it's
yeah,
not like Google. You have to use different commands to search for stuff there. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, you have to learn their system. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
it's not easy. I've been supporting Dr. Wordsmith translations for a couple of years now. And every time that they come to a corner where they're confused, either this word means one thing or it means another. And if it has an adjective, what does it turn into? Or if has a hyphen or whatever. It's like so many things that go around just to determine the context of that word. And then they know exactly how to phrase it so they can search in the database where it appears. So they
Mm,
can subtract the meaning from there. And then but it's complicated. I do agree. They have practice. They've got years of practice and they have Geshe Michael there by their side most of the time, helping
yeah,
them out. But they've
yeah,
come very efficient
yeah.
in supporting one another during those texts. But honestly, I don't think I can do it.
Oh yeah,
I
you
just
can.
repeat.
You can do it. You just need support, but then you can do it. I mean, I guess I say that because I have support. Um, if you're not sure, you can always ask somebody, and I don't know. I mean, it's if for the Chinese people, it's different. They need to ask Geshe Michael, and I can ask other people, but they can't. So I don't know. Um,
Yeah.
It's easier for a text that's already been done. I will say it that way. It's easier for a text where someone has already cleaned it up and gone over it. But where someone hasn't, if something is misspelled, you have to find it yourself. And then if
Yeah.
something is misquoted, there's no way you can know it was misquoted until you go back and see the original. And then if you don't have an original, what do you do? And then like the Wheel of Life and the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, they did it from the Sanskrit. And if the translator chose a different word, you wouldn't have known unless you go back to the Sanskrit. So to me, that's where it gets complicated.
Right.
If you're doing those kind of texts, then you have someone like Geshe Michael who's gone through it and can say, well, you know, they chose to describe it this way. It was um, you know, this exalted one rather than the one who's gone beyond. But, and
Yeah.
this is the reason why. Um, and does it make a difference? It might in context to what you're reading, it might. So you kind of have to care a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I think we can do it, and I think it won't be an issue. I think a lot of it has to do with our seeds and how much you really want it. It's so funny how when you really want something, you get what you
Right.
want.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. What we set our priorities, right? To me, based on how much effort for what I see as that not immediate goal, but that maybe shortish, medium level goal. And then I decide, and it's like it is all driven by seeds. You're absolutely right. And past experiences in this my life, I think have shown me that I I when it comes to different languages, my brain shuts down. And rather than work with my seeds to change that, I've done something else. Right? And so it really is, it's our choices in what's priority and how we think we can help the best. And it's it is a limitation. It's definitely a limitation not to be able to go to as original a scripture as we have available to us, which the Tibetan's not original, right? It's translated from the Sanskrit. And the Sanskrit, maybe we could call that original.
Jason Kappa is original, but Nagarjuna is not.
Why do you
It
say that?
depends on the author because
Yeah,
the people who are writing after they moved to Tibet, it's in Tibetan. But the
yeah,
people who brought the teachings to Tibet, it was
right,
in Sanskrit.
right.
So
Had
it
to be
just depends
translated.
on the author and the time period.
True.
And I mean, both you and my Lama agree. I don't have to learn Tibetan. He knows Tibetan phrases. You know Tibetan phrases. The goal is really to be a good person and to have enough seeds to understand. The goal is not to learn Tibetan or Sanskrit.
I agree with you.
So that's what he said, that I need to be nicer to him.
Truly, and technically, right? We could go be nice to somebody in a certain way, intending to see the result of that. B, I can read and understand Tibetan. Whether I can translate it or not, that's different. But to be able to read a Tibetan sentence and go, ah, okay, I get it. Right? That'd be a result of some kindness. And it doesn't necessarily have to be kindness where you help somebody read some foreign language. It would just need to be kindness where you help somebody come to understand something differently. Right? But like my mind still thinks, no, apples for apples, pears for pears. And I forget, right? That just being intentionally more helpful, more kind in any way is going to ripen as not those specifically, but it's going to ripen my whole experience as help, help, help there because of helping. Yay, thanks, Janet. Uh, forget where we are and who we are. Roxana, your turn, huh?
I
Did you read
I
already?
think it's Pauline is back, dear Holy Lama. Maybe she would like to try, and then
Okay.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity.
Sure.
We're
The
down.
remaining types then belong to the Dharma which is realized. The first 5 items refer to the truth of the path that leads to freedom. Here we have both the basis of qualities and the qualities which it possesses. The former is reflected in the phrase directed, and in fact, we refer to as a path that in it serves to direct the result of nirvana to the practitioner. As for the second, the qualities of this path, there are 3 here. Its nature is perfectly pure. It illuminates the nature of knowable things, and it destroys everything which opposes it. As for the first of these, we say that it is meaningful to behold, for like a lamp, it is by nature shining in light. Truth of the path. This is our first reference to the 4 higher truths. So-called because they are facts realized by a higher beings as a result of seeing the emptiness directly. In the typical order, first we have the truth of suffering, or the pain of the universe, and then we have the truth of its actual origin, karma and negative emotions. Next is the truth of the permanent end of all suffering, and then final truth of the path which leads to this end. The 4 are sometimes referred to as 4 noble truths due to a mistake in translating the Sanskrit word Arya.
Nice. So we're still talking about the qualities of the Dharma. Right?
And as for the second, we say it reflects perfect sight, referring to the fact that we then perceive the real nature of things, their suchness in an unerring manner. And then the third is represented by free of all illness, for the path helps us eliminate all our latent negativities. And this elimination is not something that lasts only for the time being. Rather, it represents a final stopping. Thus, then we refer to it flowing on without interruption. We say next that the Dharma is known by the wise individually. This is a reference to the truth of the end of suffering, and sometimes which cannot be analyzed in a logic, considering 4 alternatives. The Dharma cannot be described in words or exact descriptions. It is the realm of activity which belongs to that wisdom which high practitioners know only individually. 4 alternatives about to be listed in the following verse. Thus, it is that we describe the definition of the Dharma. In keeping with the following words from higher line, it is that thing which we cannot classify as existing, nor as not existing, nor as both existing and not existing, nor as something other than existing or not existing. It is devoid of exact description. It is known individually. It is peace. It is possessed of the light of rays that proceed from immaculate wisdom. It serves to destroy all attachment and all hatred and all of our cataracts. I bow down to this Son, the Holy Dharma. Awareness of the community. The Holy Dharma, CF 55A of the world, one of the 5 great books of the coming Buddha, Lord Maitreya.
So wait,
Should I
talk to me. Wait. Talk to me about this. I'm sorry. I can't talk to you about it. The higher line was the teaching by Lord Maitreya, Uttara Tantra. We've studied it. And he's been talking about the qualities of the Dharma. So when we read the Dharma, when we hear the Dharma, what does it mean? In your mind, what does it mean?
The teachings of the Buddha, which are pure wisdom.
Right. Right. And that means there was this being Buddha, and there were circumstances, and Buddha was asked a question, and then that Buddha spoke an answer, and the people there listened, and okay, yeah, right, I get it. And then theoretically, the ones who go, yeah, I get it, they changed their behavior. And then they came to understand something that they didn't understand before. And then, right, the teaching continued because somebody else asks another question and we get another answer. And then he teaches again. And so I agree. That's what I think of when I think of the Dharma. And then fast forward to now, right? And we're studying what was shared in all of those years. And we know it as the Buddha Dharma because it's presented to us in that way, right? We're looking for it, and then that's what we find. And it's in the text, it's in the words somebody says when they're giving a teaching. They're but none of that is said in this verse about the definition of the Dharma. Is it? The definition of the Dharma is not the words of the Buddha. And wouldn't we think that it would be? So what's this verse telling us about what is the Dharma? What is that thing which we cannot classify as existing or as not existing?
That
Or
it's
both.
empty. It's emptiness.
Yeah,
Right, it's
it's
emptiness.
emptiness.
But at the end it says, it is possessed of the light of rays that proceed from immaculate wisdom.
Right. So it is something.
Depending to whom.
Yeah, depending to whom.
It depends what kind of oxen we are.
Exactly. Exactly. And so this thing that is not existing, not existing, not both, and not neither is what serves to destroy all our attachment, our hatred, all of our inability to see things accurate to the way they truly exist. So now what is the Holy Dharma? It is the teachings, because if we don't know something and we want to come to know it, we have to learn it. And we have to learn it from something or somebody that apparently has already learned it and is willing to share it in some way. And then we apply ourselves, I guess, to processing that new information. And what makes something turn from something we didn't know to something we do know? Like, how do we decide when we know? How do we decide when we know something? Like, I'm sure I've studied things, of all the things I've studied in my lifetime, that I don't know anymore. You know, it's in there somewhere. But whereas it used to be, that knowledge was right there at my fingertips available. Now it's like, I know something about that, but not exactly. And then how is it right? How is it that we come to know something? I don't mean me, everybody in general, you personally. How is it that you finally decide you know something?
I think it's the quality of the seeds. I
Yeah.
mean, with the intention, if you think of the three spheres,
Yeah.
the interest that you put in learning something, the attention that you pay to it,
Right.
I mean, that motivation for learning and studying,
Right.
I think that that counts in recollecting also the imprint that you need
Yeah.
because I know I have the seeds. I know I like certain things. I know it's like,
Right. Right. Right.
what
Right.
catches my attention? Oh, what doesn't catch my attention? Oh,
Yeah.
what's my interest? Is it like this all the time? Or is
Yeah.
it, you know, so Mario says that I have a great memory, that I can immediately bring something back. But I think that that has to do with the quality of the imprint that I have
Right.
in focusing my attention and the motivation that I have. So I can pull back whatever
Right.
information I need at that time.
Yeah.
I cannot say that I will have that for everything,
Right.
right? But I think it has to do with that, in my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
But we do all have the seeds of all of us of study and learning and the imprints there.
Right. Because here we are.
Here we are, and we continue being here. So that's wonderful.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
For me, is whatever I learn, I try to apply, and then I see results, and then I know that it works. For
Yeah.
me, I need to see the results. Then I saw my own transformation. Then I saw people around me start to transform.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is coming from my environment. So I sort of like confirm that these teachings is actually working and it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me personally, I need to see results. So to
Yeah.
confirm, yeah.
Right. To confirm that we know.
Yeah, and I'm applying the right way, and
Yeah.
sometimes I do the wrong way, then all the more I correct myself, like through experiences.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's try and error, I guess.
Right. 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 So then that means there's more to this thing called the Dharma than just the teaching, the words of the books or the words that, come out of the teacher's mouth. There has to be some quality of our knowing its truth or our relating to it as the guidance of our behavior. That, right, there has to be really something deeper to it that isn't in it, of course, because otherwise everybody would get the same result from any given words that they hear, whether you're fly or human or not, right? Every oxen would say, join me up. I want to pull the cart. And we don't.
No. It's the connection to us, to our way of life, to our or to the issue we are facing.
Yeah.
So how it connects with us and how it helps us to overcome or feel at ease.
Yeah.
So as it's mentioned here, as existing nor as not existing, nor as both existing and
Right.
not existing.
Right. Nice. Sweet. Thank you. So when we think Dharma, right, again, Nagarjuna is talking to the king. When you think the holy Dharma, it's not just the words of the teachings, it's your understanding of the words of the teachings. And the way you understand the words of the teachings is that your behavior starts to follow that what you've come to know is true because of the words of the teachings. So it's not follow the words of the teachings because the teachings say don't kill. It's decide whether you're going to not kill because we understand that the result of killing is being killed, not getting rid of your enemy. Even though it looks like killing the enemy looks like you've gotten rid of your enemy. And it's like, whoa, if we were brand new and we heard something like that, I don't know, we might go, that's nuts, and we'd be gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
just like the monks who are walking across the earth. And we were saying we are walking for peace, but we will not bring peace. The
Yeah.
peace comes from you.
Yeah.
It's from the inner side of you. If you feel at ease inside, that's when you see peace.
Nice.
So he gets people to start the day with just saying, "Today will be my peaceful day."
Sweet.
Uh, and 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 a lot of people are saying after they hear that phrase and they put it into practice, they really feel so calm from that. You know? So yeah, it's the understanding of the connection of certain things.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. So we've talked about the qualities of the Buddha. We've talked about the qualities of the Dharma. Here comes the qualities of the community,
I don't think we finished reading the whole verses, Janama.
didn't we?
No, I don't think so.
It's
We stopped in immaculate,
oh,
as I think that's where she left it off.
okay.
I read the whole thing till
You read
I
all
bound
of it? Are you
I
sure?
read to yeah, I bound down to this son, the holy
Mm.
Dharma. Yeah, I did.
We must need to hear it again. It serves to
Yes,
destroy
yes,
all
because
attachment,
yes,
all
please.
hatred, all cataracts. I bow down to this sun, the holy Dharma, the sun of wisdom,
Thank you.
the moon
Teacher,
of
what
courage.
teacher, what is the all the cataracts? What does it mean?
Ah,
For me,
uh,
I only know cataract for eyes. That's it.
right. No, that is what they're talking about because when we have a cataract and it's really a bad cataract, you can see sunlight, you can see things, but you can't make out details.
Oh,
It's all
okay.
just like you're looking through a
Metaphor. It's just a
broken
metaphor.
window. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, then. Who's next?
Okay,
Roxana, your turn. Elsie's turn.
I don't mind reading.
Okay.
Okay. Which brings us next to the high qualities of the community of those who listen to the teachings of the conquerors reside in excellence. They reside in honesty. They reside in wisdom. They reside in harmony. What these words are describing is a high quality of personal practice for the community reside in a proper way within the tree of an exceptional ethical life, mental focus, and wisdom, which is to say, respectively, that they live in a good way and all the rest. That is, all the members of the community reside in harmony, in the sense that they share their possessions, a common code of ethics, a common way of looking at the world, and participation in spiritual rituals. Here's what it means when we speak of the high quality of being worthy of offering. The community of disciples of the conquerors are one, worthy of our many gifts; two, they are worthy to pour gifts upon; they are three, worthy of circumambulating; and they are four, worthy of joining our palms to in reverence. Finally, the community is five, an unsurpassed garden where the world could plant their good seed. Participation in the spiritual. For ancient spiritual sources here, see, for example, the awareness of the community and an unsurpassed garden for an ancient source of this particular section, see footnote 490 of the sutra entitled The Supreme Banner of the Truth. Welcome, you muted.
Are you reading that last line, Lama Sarani?
Sorry. Yes, I was. And because they possess the fine qualities of the three trainings, then the two terms, again, two, and the one final term are a reference to those three respectively. Is that an English sentence?
I mean, it says in the 21 that the three respectively, it explains it.
The ethical life, the single point of focus, the wisdom. Okay, and the wonderful qualities. So we don't get an explanation of these five unless we follow Janet's recommendation and we go dig it out of the database. Sorry, can't do that for you.
But a little bit, an ethical life, right? We kind of get that.
Right,
And a single pointed focus, we're working on that.
right.
And then wisdom, we have no idea, but
We're
we
working
know
on that too.
that that's the purpose of this morning class is to
Right.
try to figure out. And it's something that we can't figure out. We're told that too. And it's like, oh my gosh, without swearing. And then there's two more he added, and you said that the you said what they were, then the two terms. And then the one final term are a reference to those three respectively. The three trainings, then the two terms.
And then the other two.
I'm not sure what the two terms are, but the three trainings is down there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I was curious about these five. The high quality of being worthy of offerings. Uh, We understand because they are powerful karmic objects, because even if what we're talking about is the group of ordained people, it's because we see them as having committed themselves to the path. If it's the group of people who gather together to study Dharma and practice Dharma together, they're stronger karmic objects because they've dedicated themselves to the path. But then, as we understand, the Sangha jewel is someone who has seen emptiness directly. And then they're a more powerful karmic object because they are someone with wisdom and truly further ahead of us on the path. And so someone who can demonstrate to us what we can do to do the same thing, I guess. And so this is sort of saying how we could use those powerful karmic objects, right, to grow our goodness. Does it occur to us to circumambulate them? Does it occur to us to always join our hands? And is that what would show the respect in our culture now, in modern times? Is it still a really powerful thing to circumambulate?
I have a question here. Like the stupa, to circumambulate the stupa,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of stupa? Because those of us who have an altar, there's a stupa,
Right,
and it's in my altar. I never circumambulate that stupa, or does it,
right,
or what do they mean by,
uh, right.
can I just place it here and circumambulate around
Yeah.
it? We did that. Remember that we went to Valle de Bravo a year ago, and we
Uh-huh.
did circumambulate this
Right,
that big stupa that we visited.
right, right. Yeah,
But
it would be amongst the methods of accumulating merit, they would call it. You could take your little stupa,
okay,
put it on a table, maybe to like be complete, you'd put out some offerings to it, and then you would go and do refuge prayers and prostrations in front of it, and then say, I'm going to walk around this thing 21 times. You can do it as an antidote if you're wanting to purify. You can do it as the merit making towards some change you want to see, right? You can determine your intention for doing so. And then you do so with a mental focus of I'm making merit, I'm showing my respect, whatever. Often you'll do mantra while you're circumambulating. So you might use your money mantras or Tara mantras or medicine Buddha mantras. And I'm going to do, 28 times around. And then around you go. At the end, you come and face it again. You take your refuge again. You make your prostrations again. And then you dedicate. Would be the practice of doing a circumambulation as I understand it.
okay,
So, yes, you can do your own stupa. Yes, you can do any stupa that you see. And remember Diamond Cutter Sutra, anywhere this play, any place where this sutra is read becomes a sacred site.
yes, yes,
Now you can
yes.
circumambulate that place
Okay,
and you're gathering goodness
okay,
as well.
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So why is the community limited to those who live together in a spiritual way? Like in the king's time, that was true, right? You were either a monk. I mean, maybe there were lay people to some extent, lay people practitioners, but I would guess most likely not, because if you were a layperson, you were involved in staying alive, making a living. So this is the king who has got, right? He's got Sangha and he's got lay people, and they're all under his care. Okay. Elsie, you just read. Janet, your turn, please.
Here, next, are the fine qualities of giving. This is where we say to ourselves, it's so wonderful. Among a great many people who are driven by the stench of refusing to share, I have found a way to remain in a state of mind where I'm free of the stench of failing to share. Now I'm able to give and make offerings on a regular basis. I delight in reaching out my hand and giving freely. The fact that I am so much enjoying handing out gifts is a wonderful quality I have achieved. The wonderful quality. For an ancient scriptural reference, see the example folio 46b to 47a of the group of teachings of the Bodhisattvas.
So it's
This
not
is
just the giving, it's so fun to actually do it.
the joy of giving.
Yeah, he's making those two different parts of the activity. The desire, I'm going to share something, and then the actually doing it.
I mean, I almost think you need to make that, at least in America, that discerning the joy of giving, the emptiness of giving. Because you see, like, political parties get contributions, just giving all the time. But
Right,
those people expect something in return.
right,
It's not an
right,
empty giving.
right.
That is, what we are seeing described here is a number of fine qualities of giving that can come to be found in our heart. We eliminate the stench of being unwilling to share. We become the kind of person who is always in the mood to give. We are better able to make the necessary physical efforts. We pass on everything we receive, and we find a great joy in all of this.
Yay. That's so
May,
beautifully said. Thank you.
may I interrupt?
Hmm.
Mm. Have you been aware of the 19 monks walking the walk of peace? It's so
Yeah,
amazing what it's ripening and what they're on their way. I mean, God, it just fills my heart with, I can't express what I feel, but it's like,
yeah.
wow.
Elsie was saying the same thing and pointing out how crowds of people are going to see them who aren't Buddhists themselves
Right, right.
and admire these guys. And
But I've been
celebrate.
following, but they are enjoying their palms
Yeah,
together in reverence to them.
yeah. Isn't that sweet? Yeah.
See,
Very sweet.
it's weird to me that they say things like you can only teach humans that we're so special and not like animals. But there's a dog that comes to Deer
Right,
Park, and
Yeah,
there's a dog on that march.
yeah,
And
right.
who's to say in some future life that dog wouldn't become a human? I don't think it's true. I mean, I think animals are a part of all this, teaching animals for
I agree.
possibly some other life. That pig that accidentally circumambulated the stupa because he was chased, and then the man that was reborn and he had not enough merit, but then in some past life he accidentally circumambulated the stupa, and so forth. He had enough because of that one moment.
Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. And you remember Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Man, he taught people, of course, but he had this huge focus on animals and doing life liberation. And every time he got a chance, he'd go over and get the animal to see him, to pay attention to him. He'd pet it, he'd do something. Like he could hardly walk by an animal. He wouldn't walk by an animal without making contact with him. And they did a video about the yaks, saving the yaks. Did you see that documentary? That there it was made by uh, one of his disciples, one of the geshes, and Lama Zopa said to this young man, would you do something for me? There's, I think, I don't know how many, like 51 yaks that the farmer can't keep them anymore. And so he's going to sell them to the slaughterhouse. Would you please buy those yaks and move them from where they are up to this valley, which is the valley that the Roaling school that Sumati and Carlos have a foundation that they support. And the monk who made this documentary, he also is involved in that school. So that's the connection here. So anyway, they made this documentary of this monk raising the funds to buy the yaks and to gather other monks and Sherpas, or not Sherpas, but yak herders, to herd these yaks up over this pass, which was too high for them to go, so they had to do it really slowly and get them into this valley where the people of the village promised to take care of them until they died a natural death. And, I think this whole thing happened 10 or 15 years ago. And it's just so beautiful. It's like Lama Zopa Rinpoche. Oh my gosh, 51 yaks due to be butchered. And my student, right, he made the connection here that there was something about that event that he assigned to that particular student for a particular reason. And the guy achieved it. And apparently there are like 10 yaks left or something like that. We saw that monk recently. But it's just like, you're right, Janet. We shouldn't discount animals.
And it's just,
Yesterday, I saw a video. There were, I don't know, there was someone who took a lot of ponies on the trail where they were walking. So the monks were passing by, but the one who's leading the row of the monks, he stopped and he was going one by one. What about you? Like saying, what about you? What do you have to say? What about you? And,
Sweet.
and then, oh, he's called Peaches. They said, what about you, Peaches? And they would stop and they would caress them. And people were like, wow, they're even showing their love and their compassion to all beings. So, yes, they feel, and it's
Yeah.
beautiful that that they took them to that amazing opportunity of the monks passing by, too.
Yeah. Yeah, that somebody thought to bring their ponies there.
Right.
Sweet.
Very sweet. Sorry for the interruption. I got excited.
Good. All right. Awareness of following an ethical life. We recognize what's going on here, right? The six perfections. Who's next?
I am.
Oh, wait, let's take our break.
Okay.
They're promoting this book on, well, ACI in general, and I resisted putting in the chat that we were reading it. I figure if the book's not available yet, just let the book become available, and then we'll go further on. We're at the very beginning, so it's almost like if we had wanted to invite people, we should have done it earlier.
Yeah.
So it's okay. They're going to release it, I guess, in March for that teaching in March.
Great. Great. Then we can be available to help people if they want to join us.
I mean, they'd have to catch up.
Yeah, they could.
Shall I?
Please.
The fine qualities of following an ethical life are expressed in the following thoughts that come to us. I never fail in following an ethical life. My ethics are without fault. They are never muddied, never stained. I have self control in keeping them. They are praised by the wise, and they have helped me to achieve deep focus in my mind. These, then, are the fine qualities of an ethical life found within my heart.
But now I need to work on my pride, my arrogance.
I was thinking of my grandma when I was reading this. My grandma was such a great example of following an ethical way of life. But I don't see her with pride. I mean, just see
Yeah,
her like she knew what to do and she
yeah,
knew how to educate us and she knew how
right.
important values and moral and everything was. So
Yeah,
I was thinking of her.
yeah, sweet.
Yeah.
I saw my parents as that way too.
Yeah. The point of the wording here can be expressed in the following lines. You must keep a code of ethics which never degenerates and can never be criticized.
Try.
Yeah, but that should be highlighted. And usually, at least in my professional experience, it was a dress code more
Just
important.
right. Oh, you're right. There's a little bit more.
It must be unmixed and it must be unsullied. What does it mean by unsullied?
Unsullied,
Unsullied, yeah.
stained. To be
Okay.
sullied is stained, so somehow be made impure.
Okay. Awareness of the worldly gods,
So much
which
for the
bring
six
us,
perfections. I'm sorry for interrupting. Awareness
you
of
were
the
saying,
worldly gods.
okay,
This is your question.
let's see. Which bring us finally to the high qualities of the worldly gods. This is the point that there are different sorts of worldly gods, such as those from the class of the four great kings, and those known as the group of the 33. On up to this referred to as the worldly gods who have gained power of the ability to emanate others. And what we mean here by an awareness of these worldly gods, it's to maintain a recognition of the fine qualities that act as causes for the gods to be born as they are. That is, we are hoping to bring our own good qualities up to that same level. Things like the ethical life we lead and our ability to focus our mind single pointedly. So, it's like, I
I do
mean,
it. Yeah, I do a sadhana on the day before the black moon, and one of the verses is something about come from the land of the 33, and I never understood what it meant. And it's like, oh, it's here it is, the group of the 33. It's a worldly God realm that I've been doing things for. So that helps me. Like I learned something I didn't know, not that there isn't lots that I don't know.
I
Uh,
know, but we're learning to be single-pointed minded. I mean, and we are learning to live an ethical way of life, and we are practicing both things, right?
mhm.
So my understanding is that that's how they got to be worldly gods.
Right, right. So they just were off track a little bit, that they got to be worldly gods instead of reaching their Buddha paradise.
Right.
Right. And so, yeah, what I hear this pointing out helps me too. I was recalling Geshe-la saying there are worldly gods and they got there by way of the virtue of their single pointed concentration. And that's not our goal. We don't aspire to that.
Right. Right.
And they're just suffering because they're using up their goodness and then they're going to fall. And I left it at that. But it seems like here he's pointing out that not that we should use them as an example of what not to do, but to recognize the fact that ethics really does bring powerful, good results. You know, we're directing our powerful, good results somewhere else, but worldly gods prove that pure worlds can be made.
Right. And for example, the sensation that I get, it's like, oh, you just climbed one step further or up
Right.
from a lower realm. You know,
Yeah.
it's like,
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
so yeah.
Teacher, are the worldly gods the same as pleasure beings? A bit confused here.
Yeah.
The same.
Yeah.
And
Pleasure.
they always say that those pleasure beings, they are enjoying life. They don't have a chance to plant seeds because everybody is enjoying life. They all have good seeds and they are exhausting their good seeds, right? Wherever they are. And they are still jealous and then fighting over power. So I guess that's about it, the negative emotions that they have. Other than that, they are quite ethical to get there. Is that
They
right?
were right. They were ethical to get there
And single pointed
in because
meditation.
they spent a lot of time in deep meditation in which they didn't make the negative seeds that we make in the moments we're not in deep single pointed concentration as humans, is if I'm understanding the way the explanation is. So
Mhm.
yes, you could do world like active outside of meditation things that are virtuous enough and direct them towards becoming a worldly god, a pleasure being, I suppose. But they say
Mhm.
the actual causes for worldly god and pleasure being happens in meditation, that that is deeply focused meditation on not a virtuous object. And that if
Not
those seeds ripen at the moment of death, we see ourselves in this beautiful, pure world, but not one where we are intentionally making new virtue. We have to still be making seeds because any awareness, right, makes a
mm,
seed by experiencing something. But it's just that they don't have that impetus to put themselves on the spiritual path. And so they're not perpetuating their goodness. And so we use it up in
mm,
our worldly God status. And then we've used up all our goodness, as I understand it. And we haven't done anything to clean out our
bad ones.
bad ones. So
Mm.
then bad, 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 bad is all there is to ripen.
Go to hell.
Uh,
Depending on how bad their karmas are, the leftovers,
right, right,
chances are go to hell.
right. is
So they're
the
actually meditating on something non-virtuous. So that's
well,
the reason why they end up as
meditating,
pleasure being.
right,
Okay.
not on something virtuous, right? So
Okay.
our tradition doesn't say make your whole practice be your breath meditation because your breath isn't a virtuous object. It's not a non-virtuous thing,
Mhm.
but it's not like visualizing your Lama there or the Buddha there,
Okay.
or meditating on the perfection of giving in that way.
Mhm.
Right? That was the Kamala Shila
Okay.
argument about the what meditation can do
Mm.
for us because it's seed planting. Okay? It's
Right.
all about the seed planting when we're in meditation.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Thank you,
so Mr.
teacher.
King, you have people and you have animals to take care of. Don't forget the worldly gods.
6 rooms.
Yesterday I had a random thought, dear Lama, when you shared, you know, about your cough.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, Lama has been teaching us for years the Dharma. And isn't so the Dharma the medicine that heals absolutely everything?
And how come I've gotten a cough while I've been teaching the Dharma?
No, no. I mean, no, not that. No, you went on the other track. The thought goes that she's giving us medicine. Aren't we supposed to be rejoicing in all the medicine and dedicating it to your well-being and no more coughing?
No, dedicate it to your total enlightenment, and that is what will
Oh
take my
yes, but I
conflict.
love you and I don't want to see you suffering. I don't want to see you coughing.
Dedicate your goodness to something higher than whether I cough or not, please. And the cough stopping will be a side effect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
There's a footnote here.
Different sorts of worldly gods. All the various types of worldly gods are described in detail in the third chapter of the famed Treasure House of Higher Wisdom, written by Master Vasubandhu, 350 AD. This chapter begins from the folio 7a. Emanating others refers to the ability to emanate other people and even interact with them. The point here is that these beings represent a very high, glorious, and sadly temporary rebirth within the world of pain, similar to today's imaginary superheroes, but that the fact of their birth in those realms is due to great good deeds that we should also emulate, although in a way which leads rather to complete freedom.
Yeah, we figured that one out, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Okay, and then it's a little bit, I think it's a part here it says, and what we mean here by, oh no, I did that part. So it then goes to the 10 paths of karma.
Right. Can I
So,
ask a question though? This
yes,
wording, I'm wondering about the wording and I don't know how to answer it. It said the ability to emanate other people and even interact with them. To emanate other people and to emanate to other people is
different,
completely different.
right.
He said up here to emanate. I saw it already. Well, now I can't find it. Maybe that's where I saw it. But what do you think? There it is. To the high qualities of the worldly gods, this last one who have gained the power of the ability to emanate others. So it's like if we emanate, right, what we'll do, we are going to emanate as Buddhas. We're going to emanate as a puppy for the lonely child, as a, you know, anything anyone needs. So in terms of self and other, we would be emanating other, wouldn't we? But when I read it, I think to emanate other people. So it's like, okay, I emanate another person and then I interact with him. Like, is that really what the scripture is saying they do? Or is it emanate these other things? They're emanating the things that are around them and then interacting with them in terms of, I don't know, using them to share or using them to enjoy. Like, what do you think? How do you read that? How do you interpret that?
So
To
this
be
to
honest,
me, it's like having an inspiring supervisor. Like you could have a supervisor that's different styles, like hands off, they let you do what you want, or they supervise you and they give you a lot of direction. And there's a style of supervising where it's inspirational. They tend to be really beautiful people, and you tend to want to always be around their presence, and you tend to always want to go to work and be happy there because they create an environment where it's just such a joy to be there. Um, so I never believed he even uses the word hero. Like it's like a hero, someone that's an example to you.
Mm,
I when I had writing assignments and they want you to write about a hero, I could never really think about who my hero was. But I have noticed that in the work environment, it doesn't have to be one way. There's different ways of doing it. And I wouldn't call it heroic. I would call it inspiring. Like
yeah.
if I were to want to be like something, I would want to be an inspiring woman. I
Yeah.
wouldn't want to be a woman that just does whatever that is told, a kind of submissive one, or a woman that just wants to assert her dominance and have her female energy all over. I would want to be someone who is inspiring and want people to be happy and to be around and to be fully present and to be focused even. Um, So yeah, he's saying imaginary superheroes, and I guess for me it's like real inspiring women.
Yeah. And so they do emanate this quality that inspires people. Is that how this was being used? That helps me. Thanks.
Or I don't know, I mean, if you can emanate and be anyone you want, wouldn't you want to be? That's why they asked that question. If you had a hero, who would your hero be? And it could be a fictional person.
I see.
And
You're emanating yourself. Got it.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Got it. Nice.
Sorry, I don't get it. Emanating yourself, but when you emanate means you're being someone else, right? You're trying to like change your appearance or change to something else. So I don't understand the term emanate yourself.
So you
I
don't
guess,
really exist. You can be anything. But if you could
right.
be anything, then who would you be?
when I listen to you all, I kind of think of the fairy godmother, with the magic wand.
Uh-huh.
Uh, and it's like, wow, the ability just to have like that magic wand and transform everything into whatever
Yeah.
you want. So
Yeah.
it must be a very wise person, that fairy godmother,
Right.
definitely, to be able to have that magic.
Right.
So for me, like emanating, it's the magic there,
Yeah.
ready to be whatever it needs to, whatever everybody needs.
Yeah. That's nice.
Oh, okay. So you're saying to emanate the quality to the person that you want to help. Is it is that what you're saying, Janet?
Well, I guess in my experience, I've noticed there's like a menu. Like things aren't just one way. There's like a
Hmm.
menu. And there's certain menus that seem more functional than say like if you have power, would you control someone? Would you restrain someone? Would you shame someone? So the question becomes, if you have power, if you see emptiness directly, if you have power, what would you do with that power? And if you don't really have a choice, that's fine too. But if you had a choice, what would you do with that power if you had power? So a lot of times women just don't have power, but now it's feeling like we're coming into power now. Women are coming into power. So the question becomes, what will women do with our power when we come into it, or as we're coming into it? What will we do with it?
Right. Right.
Okay.
That'd be a great conversation to have.
Yeah, true.
But couldn't we plant the seeds for that? I mean, it's a great awareness what you just shared.
Mhm.
And we need leaders with a compassionate heart and the wisdom to be able to transform our broken society.
Mhm.
So
So what rejoiceables do we have? Where is it where we've been in, I don't know, some situation of decision making or power where I don't, where we brought we brought to this situation some solution that seemed to be somehow the opposite of what everybody would have expected the solution to be, because our offering of the solution was coming from the idea of, you know, what we plant is what's more important than the actual outcome. Do you see what I'm trying to describe? Where have we brought this compassionate, inspiring energy to solve a situation in the past? Have we ever done that?
I think
Have we
we
ever?
have it. I think definitely we have. And Janet talks about a menu. And
Yeah.
my mind just kind of draws the menu and see the what's written there.
Yeah.
But the menu can be written again. I mean, it doesn't have to be a permanent menu.
Right.
And when I think of, what I see that it's lacking, it's what I need to give,
Right.
right?
Yeah, that's nice.
So for example, my daughters, it's like they want to have it all. They want to continue with a professional career. They want to have a family. They want, it's like what I did also in the past. So how can I support that? Because I know that it's so important for children to have good boundaries, good values, good care in a loving environment, so many things, because that's the type of person at the end that it's going to be out there and
Right.
making a difference also in life. So
Hmm.
if I were to say, oh, just send them to nursery or just,
Hmm.
wouldn't care, I wouldn't be around. I wouldn't make the effort to do other things. So the same thing, the impact that each one of us has with the neighbor, with our colleagues, with it's making the difference. But how can I make the awareness of the seeds that I'm planting
Hmm.
with that loving compassion so they will ripen later on with the same loving compassion?
Right.
I mean, I think that women now have so many power in so many different ways.
Yeah, in
Power,
what way? In what way? Help me understand. Because there are women in the news and they are not behaving as women at all. They have fit themselves into the masculine world and the masculine behavior pattern, and they're good at it because there they are, functioning in it. So
But
when we
but
say bring the female energy, what do we mean?
But the news has a menu too. That's the
Right.
entertainment. That's the entertainment. They're there to entertain and to get
Right.
people to watch. There's a teaching aspect to the news, and
Yeah.
there's also an inspirational aspect to the news too.
Yeah.
All the menu items are there. And if
Mhm.
they're directed by their supervisors, whether they're men or women, to entertain people to keep coming back,
Right.
they can choose whether they want to follow that or not.
Right. 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 So how would it be different if those women were choosing to be in that situation, but they're bringing in the female energy to it? How do you think it would be different?
It would be silly, but for example, we were in Phoenix and Maddie turned on the TV to watch the forecast news there. And there was this lady giving the forecast, the weather forecast. She was dressed so elegant, her dress so inspiring. No
Uh-huh.
tattoos. I'm not saying that tattoos are bad or I'm not
Yeah.
judging.
Right.
Her hair, her dress code, her presence. And then
Uh-huh.
Maddie goes, look how beautiful she looks. The feminine part. And then he said, and do you recall other forecast ladies, how they dress with the mini skirts and how, it's like we want to attract people by the eye. And
Yeah.
here they were just inspiring others.
Okay. Okay. Nice. Nice.
And that's just with the weather forecast ladies.
Yeah.
They were
Okay.
just showing sunny.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I mean, there are things that I think that as women, we have the power of just dressing up. I'm not going to say with hundreds of dollars on top of you, but simple, casual, feminine vibe.
Uh-uh.
And that does make the difference in a world.
So
At least,
I'm in school. I'm potentially going to school for physical therapy assistant in the fall, and you have to take these prerequisite classes, and one
Mhm.
of them is speech. And they caution you if you're talking to a wavering audience, there's ethos, logos, and pathos. So this is not Tibetan, but this is the Greek version of it. So
Mhm.
the ethical, the no, I wouldn't even say ethical, but the status quo, the story of your culture. There's the pathos, your emotions, and then there's logos. And they say for wavering audience that's on the fence, do not lead with pathos. Do not lead with emotions. It's not going to win over a wavering audience. So logos, which is logic, is either citations or personal story. So that anchor person can either go with a citation of facts or they can go with a personal story. And I've been riding airplanes, like going to Mexico or going to see my parents, and I don't have Apple TV, so I decided that I would watch Apple TV on the plane, and I watched the morning show. And I wouldn't recommend it's a lot of celebrities, but it is about anchor people. And the main character, which Reese Witherspoon plays, she went with a personal story. She had an abortion when she had a child, and she went with citation. She was talking about the reasons why, I think it was oil, drilling for oil was bad for the environment. So, I mean, although you can take that stance of logos, there's no guarantee you will win over your audience, but it's better than going with just emotions. So my Lama is writing a music program, and he's going based on logic and like the cognitive way that music gets perceived by the brain. And he said, "But I've got no response." But he did everything according to that speech class. He did go with logos. And if you kind of look at the Pramana, if you look at their debate format, it's exactly the same. They're trying to go purely with logic and not with emotions to make their case about whether there's something red or white there. It's going quite on there. And you notice that ACI 13 is not very popular,
Mhm.
that it doesn't necessarily win over the audience, but this is just a way of presenting things that's not from emotional side. almost purely logical side, and it would be a personal story or a citation.
Yeah.
And I don't think women are purely emotional. A lot of people say that they're purely emotional, that we're too emo. My ex-husband would say I was too emo. I don't know where that comes from because everyone is too emo. It's not just women. So
Yeah.
this has to do with a way of communicating from a logical side. Even if you lose the debate, that you're coming not from emotions, but you're coming like 97%, almost entirely from logic. And you have to have those citations saved up in your brain or, someplace. And then as you're going through your life, you have to save up a story to tell somebody. I've been interviewing for jobs, and Roxanne has offered to like coach me. And maybe I should take her up on it because I don't save up personal stories. So once someone tell me something you've done, for your clients, I have no idea what to say, but I can listen to somebody else's story. Well, she wanted her nails done and I had nail polish in my purse and I saved it. What kind of story is that? That I have nail polish on my purse and I'm sharing it with someone? Why do I even? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how good or bad your story is. The whole point is citation and personal story is to win over the audience. You almost have to save up a story, even if you think it's a stupid story, because that's the way you just can't. And here I'm being very emotional about it. But it doesn't matter. You either have to save your stories or have the citations if you're going to take that route to try to win over someone as an anchor person that's not just the entertainment.
And so are we saying that that's the male energy that needs that kind of interaction to get its attention?
Well, unfortunately, the male energy views women as objects, so they would like us to be. And I am not against being an object. I'm not. I'll put on makeup and I'll wear nice clothes and I'll be presentable. But on top of that, I probably will take the advice of the speech class and save up citations and save a personal story.
Yeah.
So I think that we're adding on to how the male brain perceives women. If you want to talk about how we perceive music, well, how do men perceive women? Because I can assure you, there have been men that have told me they think about sex all the time, and I'm shocked because I don't think about sex all the time. But is
Yeah.
it possible that men think about sex all the time? Yeah, it is.
Um, so yeah, I'm still grappling, it's like it's a big thing, the female energy versus the male energy. It comes in our practices about focusing on the wisdom versus the method side, right? The wisdom side is the woman, the method side is the man, but not meaning man, woman, just meaning female, male, this dichotomy.
Yeah, but if
That,
you think,
go ahead.
yeah, okay. I think that women have by instinct the mother nature of caring, protecting, security. And the male, I see it in our governments. I mean, the people who are governing in certain positions, they want the power. They want the decision making. They want, I don't know, the ruling, the to rule, to overcome, to overstep, to I don't know.
And underneath that is this impulse to provide, I think. Like the male side provides, the
Right, right,
female
right,
side receives and
right,
uses to create.
right, right.
And it's like, as creators, like as let's call ourselves modern women, it it feels like I imposed upon myself the need to both provide and create. Like my parents didn't impose that on me. Nobody did. I imposed it on myself. And it's like I'm going to provide for me and I'm going to create for me. And then the providing took over, right? Because it's so more immediately gratifying. I do this, I get that, it looked like. I work hard, it earns the money, right? I can keep our refrigerator full. And Smati's doing the same thing because he's providing. And then my creation side like got sublimated because it's so much work to provide. And of course, we're trying to get the balance of both.
Right. But that's here where I think that we've gone over the cliff in
Yeah,
modern days.
edge, right.
In modern days.
Yeah, I agree.
Because, as I said, the girls, they want it all, right?
Yeah,
Back then, I wanted all. I wanted all also, but I had my priorities very well set up.
yeah,
So Muddy had two jobs. He was the one who's taking care of us, and I was taking care of our home with the
right,
girls,
right.
not having to go drop them at a nursery place or whatever.
Mhm.
I was complacent with all the efforts that he was making for providing for our family. It
Right.
came a time when I had the opportunity to work, but when I worked, I never took over his role.
Yeah,
It was my opportunity to help out my grandma, my mom economically, to do
yeah.
other things with that money.
Hmm.
And but it's like we're interfering with roles sometimes, and we forget that it is important to respect also others' roles. And I don't
Right.
know. And that's why I think that there are so many divorces, because the man expects something from the woman. Okay. I had someone come over to give us a massage, and the lady said, "Well, my son divorced, and I didn't know that he was having issues." And they went to therapy, and the psychologist just said, "No, this is definitely not going to work. Get divorced." And she said, my son never said anything, but the girl that he married said to him, "You're going to do your laundry. Don't expect me to do your laundry. And you're going to do your cooking. Don't expect me to ever cook. And you're going to do blah, blah, blah." So, and she was taking over a female role, not I mean, she was taking over a male role
Yeah,
instead of being, I don't know. Mm, So it never worked out.
right.
So I don't know. It's different. It's difficult to have a
Yeah.
balance.
So when we're saying, oh, it's time for the female power to come, right, to transform this patriarchal culture that we're all imbued in, like, what do we really mean by that?
I think to really think of everybody as your children.
Yeah,
That's what I mean. I mean,
yeah,
not to segregate because of ethnicity or
yeah,
racism, or I mean, just see everybody as equal and give them an equal opportunity as if everybody were your children. That's what I would do if I had the opportunity. How can I make life better for everybody? Not only for the powerful, not only for these ones who are in these circumstances.
right,
I
right,
would
right.
see them as if they were my children. I mean, I would turn on that feeling of being a mom and caring really for everybody.
Right.
I
And
mean,
then that brings, go ahead, Janet.
the alchemists feel that that being mom that Roxana is talking about is a teaching energy. So, and they're the the Isis, Temple of Isis people, and they believe that the women are the people that train everyone, and they train these high teachers, the men,
Mm,
and that you after a while you can put that teaching in dormancy, but it comes up again, and that if we're creating Maitreya, if we're creating the future leaders and you think the teachings aren't there, they're actually hidden in the women. And so the women and the mothers, in bringing up their children, they're teaching them, from
Right.
what I understand, it's overcoming death. It's overcoming that you die and
Yeah.
that you have these initiations and you have these processes so that you don't really die, that your body is resurrected. And I'm not sure if that's really what's going on. I mean, I suspect, even as I listen to myself, yeah, of course that is what's going on,
Mhm.
because there's such a disbelief and a shutdown about the reality of our situation. There just seems to be no way that it's gonna, I mean, if the truth is gonna come out and it's gonna come out again, and it's through the teachings from the feminine side,
Yeah.
then technically it's the teachings on emptiness. Technically, it seems
Right.
like, whether it's coming from men or women, it's the
Yeah.
teaching that things are empty and they never start, they never stop, they don't continue, and that we are eternal. But,
Yeah.
you know, I
Yeah.
I I I guess I didn't really experience that from my mother.
Yeah.
But I do experience that from you, and I do experience that from Show Me Showers. So I would say this is a more esoteric thing rather than like a literal mother. This is
Yeah.
like the mother, the eternal mother that we all are, and
Right.
that how important it is for Maitreya and for these teachers to come to have mothers that care
Right.
and teach them.
Right.
Otherwise, it won't happen.
Right.
So it's important for us to teach and to teach well and to take care of our bodies and to live long enough so that we can take care of that next generation of Buddhas that are supposedly manifesting. If not
Right.
already here and gone, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Sweet.
I mean, I don't think Buddhas just happen. It's because of that female energy that Buddhas happen.
And it's really curious, isn't it, that the Buddha needed to manifest as a male in this round to, as if you have to be male in order to manifest Buddhahood. But if Buddhahood is something in appearing, right, manifesting, it's it is gonna look, it is gonna manifest as the appearing side as a male because that's like the the epitome of it. But the only way that that appearance came to be is because of the wisdom and compassion. So as Janet said, that being had to have a, the female, the mother, to inspire it to become Buddha. So does that mean we're all going to be in male bodies when we reach Buddhahood? That's what it used to say to the female practitioners. Dedicate all your efforts to getting a male rebirth so that you can get enlightened in that life. And it's like, yeah, right, watch this, right? Said Tara, said Niguma, said a whole bunch of other women. But then by the nature of the female energy, it's not out there, right? That's our male energy that puts us out there, even when it, right, it appears female. So we all have this pair of what seems like opposites.
Right.
As Janet points out, it's not opposites, it's two sides of the coin, which is
And,
why we're studying, right? The two sides of the coin.
Lama, I
but for
think,
example, even the
uh,
Medicine Buddha Sutra says, you know, just pray to be that your next rebirth would be a male,
Yeah,
so you can just get rid of all of the pains that are being a female,
right.
of giving birth, your menstrual cycle, and so many other things.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it hasn't been that bad. Yes, Elsie, I'm sorry I interrupted you.
so it's just like the legend of the Kuan Yin, that she was so beautiful that she has so many um and so many people going after her, even though she is already enlightened. She is not um, human anymore. Um, but there are still males who go seeking for her until the situation got so bad until she transformed into a male.
Ah,
That is the time where people then respected her as a deity, as a god. That was the legend, uh, as according to the Chinese legend
interesting.
story.
I hadn't heard that.
So maybe that is why they say a Buddha cannot be or need to be a male,
Yeah,
because if it's a female, then other things, other attractions comes in.
yeah,
I suppose that's why.
interesting.
Sure, back to the female and the male gender. Is there anywhere in the scriptures that says that being born as a woman has heavier karma as opposed to men?
Has heavier karma?
Like more bad karmas to be a woman rather than to be a man? Because we
I
have to
think,
go through labor and then we have
yeah,
periods. Is it true?
I think they do say that, right?
Oh, so it's
Yeah.
true. It's not a myth. Hmm, okay.
And we talked about this over retreat, but Guan Yin and Chen Rezig are the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice discussion. I think the feminine, masculine energy discussion, like, I hope it keeps coming up because I think we're on the cusp of a huge shift as the human species. And the better we can try to understand cognitively, we can understand better in our hearts, and then we can embody the one that we need according to the circumstance we're in, instead of being stuck in one or the other and then misjudging the other as something always bad, but rather, right, to be coming from the realm of our emptiness at any moment. Like, I was just reading this in another context. It's like, can we identify with our own all potentiality moment by moment enough to actually, like, every next moment is a step out of the void into how we want to uplift other, not even step out into the void with what we want, because when I say that, my own mind misunderstands what I want as for this, not for everybody, but rather to be stepping into the void as an offering, right? Can this be a uplift, like the inspiring supervisor that Janet started us out with in this discussion? Like, how wonderful it would be to identify as that empty nature so clearly that our motivation would be whatever interaction with anything or anybody, may it be for their benefit, for its benefit, not a specific thing, but just however this can be for you, may it be for the best. Wouldn't that be sweet to just have that sense of outflow all the time? And then my mind can imagine it, imagine it, imagine it. And then as soon as I get off my cushion and go make a cup of tea, I'm right back into me, for me, for me. And it's like, yeah, you know? But just to have the glimpse is so different, right, than eons of me versus you, that it's worth it's worth imagining as often as we can. Okay.
Because when we are doing that, we are planting seeds, right, teacher?
Exactly. Exactly. Uh, may this be that for you.
You know, it's so curious what you're saying right now, Dilemma. Well, you know the house. And to my right, there's Senora Soralia's son, which he has a partner of his same gender. And then to my left, we have two girls who they have kids now. One of them just was born this January.
Oh,
So we're in the middle. Mario and I, it's like we have the three families.
that's perfect. That's perfect.
I know.
In that middle channel. Ooh, hooray.
Yes.
Sweet. All right, my dears, that was a very enjoyable session. We are picking up at the 10 paths of karma. That sounds neat. Page 42. So remember that being we wanted to be able to help? I think we planted some great seeds that will go on to help them stop their suffering forever. And that's a great, great goodness. So please be happy with yourselves, ourselves. And think of this goodness like a beautiful glowing gemstone we can hold in our hands. Recall your own precious holy being. So happy with you. Feel your gratitude to them, your reliance upon them. Ask them to please, please stay close, to continue to guide us and inspire us. And then offer them this gemstone of goodness. See them accept it and bless it. And they carry it with them right back into our hearts. See them there, feel them there. Their love, their compassion, their wisdom. It feels so good, we want to keep it forever. And so we know to share it by the power of the goodness that we've just done. May all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the two ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom make. So use those 3 long exhales to share this goodness with that one person. To share it with everyone you love. To share it with every existing being everywhere. See them all filled with loving kindness, filled with wisdom. And may it be so.